Hey, if you're thinking about moving to Knoxville, there's a decision you should think about before you look at homes. Stay with me here. You're going to want to think about city versus county. On paper, both feel like Knoxville, but day-to-day life can feel very different depending on which side you choose. So in this video, I want to walk through the real differences between living inside Knoxville city limits versus living in Knox County and help you understand which one fits your lifestyle better. This is just an educational overview. We're not going to talk about any specific homes today. First, let's start with location and density. Living inside the city usually means you're closer to downtown, major employers, hospitals, and entertainment. Neighborhoods tend to be more established, streets are tighter, and homes are closer together. Once you move into the county, however, things usually spread out. Lots are going to be larger, homes are farther apart, and the overall pace feels quieter, but you're often trading that space for a longer drive. Now, let's talk about services, because this is one of the biggest surprises for relocating buyers. Inside the city, trash pickup is normally and typically provided, and fire protection is handled by full-time city fire services. For many people moving from larger metros, that feels familiar and predictable. In the county, though, trash service is often private, and fire protection may be provided by a volunteer fire department instead of a full-time city service. That doesn't mean it's bad, it's just different, and it's something you're going to want to think about ahead of time before you buy a house. Utilities can differ as well, especially if you're moving farther from the center core. A decent amount of homes might be on septic, not sewer, and some houses, though not very many, are going to have wells instead of public water. You should also think about the differences in restrictions when considering city versus county. In the city, very few animals outside of pets like cats and dogs are going to be allowed. The county is going to be a lot more lenient about that, though. You're going to be able to have farm animals, stock animals, all those goats you've been dreaming of, especially if you're not in a subdivision. Now, let's talk about housing layouts and style. City areas tend to have older homes with more defined rooms, traditional layouts, smaller closets, and layouts that reflect when they were built. In many county areas, especially where the development is newer and growing, and we have a lot of that here, open concept layouts, larger primary suites, and modern floor plans are going to be more common. That's why buyers who want newer layouts often gravitate towards developing county areas, while a buyer who value character and location lean towards the city. Another big thing is traffic and commuting. Knoxville is still manageable compared to larger cities, but growth and net migration have increased our traffic a lot, especially in developing corridors. Commute time here is less about mileage and more about direction, timing, and which side of the river you're going to be on. City living can mean shorter drives but more congestion. County living often means longer drives but less stop and go traffic, depending on rush hour and school traffic. Weather is going to play into your decision as well. Snow doesn't happen often in Knoxville, and when it does, main roads are going to be cleared fairly quickly. But in county areas, especially on back roads and hills, snow and ice can linger for days, especially if the sun doesn't shine there very much. That's another small difference, but a real difference people notice after they move. Now, let's talk about lifestyle. City living often means easier access to restaurants, events, and entertainment. They're closer to downtown, UT campus, and cultural hubs. County living tends to attract people who want space, privacy, and access to park, lake, and outdoor areas without feeling crowded. You're going to get more space in the county, but you're going to get a longer drive to amenities as well. Both lifestyles are going to work well. They're just going to be different, and you need to figure that out before you find a house. So, how do people normally choose? Here's the simplest way to think about it that I've found. If you're going to want proximity, city services, and established neighborhoods, living in the city is often going to fit very well for you. If you want space, newer homes, and a quieter day-to-day feel, and maybe those goats, the county usually makes more sense. The people who are happiest long-term aren't going to find a house first. They're going to find the version of Knoxville that fits how they want to live and then narrow down the homes from there. And if you're trying to figure out whether city or county living makes more sense for your lifestyle, commute, and priorities, I'm always happy to help explain the differences and talk through options when you're ready.